I don't know. Something is coming to my mind and it's bugging me. It's like, why are we all like this? Why have we arrived at this stage in our lives whereby relationships is just crazy? Is almost like it's just bare long, isn't it? However, it is what it is, because you just think you get to a stage in your life where you just don't have tolerance for nonsense anymore. And that's in any relationship, not just like in a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend. In anything that ships relationship, friendship, partnership, you get to a certain stage in your life, you start to reflect and you're thinking, listen, there's more to life than just being at a loggerhead all the time or not seeing eye to eye. So you start to pick your battle, right? However, we really need to dip this. We really, 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 really need to start thinking deep when it comes to consensual relationships, when it comes to being boyfriends, being girlfriends, being wives, being husbands, whatever it is. Because especially where children are involved, where it's just a man and a woman, sometimes you can just decide, you know what, you're long, I'm out. But when it comes where children are involved, is a bit deeper than that. And I'm not saying that anybody should stay in a relationship where they're not happy, where they're not fulfilled, where is one party that seems to be doing more than the other constantly, all the time, for long periods. I'm not saying that. Although, you know, there are times that one person will do more than the other. However, there has to be a balance, a decent and a reasonable balance in that. So, you know, whichever party is doing more does not feel overwhelmed. And more to everybody differs. It really does differs from relationship to relationship. It could be that in one relationship the husband is carrying the bulk of responsibilities. It could be the female that is carrying it. It could be that one is the one that's responsible for looking after the children more than the other. And this could be the husband, this could be the wife. But what should happen is that there should be a decent balance in whatever responsibility or whatever role we seem to be carrying. What seems to be the problem is that one person will be carrying the bulk of responsibility for a long period of time, and after some times the party that is carrying this responsibility becomes overwhelmed then it becomes that the other party that is more relaxed can't seem to understand why they're suddenly overwhelmed. And this becoming overwhelmed is never sudden. You know, it starts off slowly and it starts to mount up. And if it's not addressed, it's not dealt with, it's not nipped in the bud, it's not mitigated, it just constantly goes on and on. You can't blame the person that is overwhelmed, and you can't blame the person that doesn't understand why you suddenly become overwhelmed from the responsibility that you've been carrying for a long period of time. They're used to that. So when you want to change it, I mean, change is constant, change is inevitable, but change is one of the hardest things to adhere to. You understand? So if children are now involved and this change does not happen, and you people decide to part way or to separate or whatever, it doesn't always work well for the children. And if care is not taken, the children will be at the receiving end of whatever decision that both parents decide to take. I.e., the man could decide to go his way and the woman decide to go her way. If there is no adequate planning in place to be equally responsible for your children, the children are going to be the one to feel the bulk of the problem. You understand? And obviously the partner, whoever the children ends up being with most of the time, in majority of cases, that's the woman, and the man will continue with her life. The woman will think she's continuing with her life. She will try to continue with her life. But for both parties, what we'll have to remember is when the man moves on, another woman comes in. When the woman moves on, another man comes in. Literally, you become an extended family, whether you like it or not.